Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Sarah, my pronouns are she, her, and this is a channel about the cross-stitch projects I'm working on and the cross-stitch patterns I design. You can find me as ModCross on Etsy and Instagram, and today is Sunday, January 7th, 2024, and this is my first ever Finishes Parade. Welcome again. If you are new here, hello. If you are returning, hello friends, welcome back. I have never done a finish parade before. I've never even counted how many projects I've finished in a year, and mostly because the first 20 or so years of my cross-stitching journey, I was a monogamous stitcher on dimensions kits or kits from large craft stores, and I didn't know about the wider world that is stitching. But now I do, and so I have a lot of finishes. I honestly didn't know what to expect. It kind of gets to the point where you have so much left to stitch on that I never went back and really considered all the things I had finished. And so it was really fun to sit down and pull up my Instagram account and start scrolling through and making a list to see how many things I actually did finish. And the final total was 19 finishes in 2023. 19! 11 were models that were my own designs, and if you would have asked me how many things I designed last year, I also wouldn't have been able to give you a number, which seems like a bit of an issue business person wise, but I'm glad to know it was 11. That's pretty exciting. So I have 19 things to show, plus a few bonuses. And it's parade season, and I wanted to do a bit of a year-end wrap-up. I usually do my whip parades in February, so stick around for that. But I did want to have something to offer in the way of a parade, and I actually have finishes to show, and it's very exciting. So thank you for sticking around. I've made notes for every piece, and hopefully that covers all of the basic information. But if I forget something, if you have any questions, if you just want to leave a comment, please do so. Like, subscribe, do all the things. And yeah, that's it. It's a Flosstube Extra, and we are going to parade. So the first thing that I finished in 2023, I actually finished two small projects on the same day. My younger daughter's birthday is in the middle of January, and I started both of these projects on Christmas Eve Day 2022, and I finished them both in the middle of January 2023 on my daughter's birthday. The first one is Yule Goat. This is from D of D's 20 Stitches and Uncanny Kari. This is a truncated version of the pattern. There were some motifs in the corners to make it more of a square finish, and I'm slightly obsessed with arch finishes, and so I did the trees down below and did the goat themselves, but left off the rest. This is on 32 count frozen lime opalescent linen from XJU Design, and it's done in 3 colors of DMC A12. The white eyelash trim is from Purple Paper Mountain on Etsy. A lot of the trims are from them that I use, and just some slightly sparkly backing fabric. You'll see that backing fabric quite a bit in this parade as well. And I just made it into ornament. It's often hanging behind me in my videos. D and Kari did release a companion. I believe it's a cat. They released a companion this past December to the Yule Goat as well. So that is Yule Goat. And then the other thing that I started and finished on the same day is Ready for Takeoff. And this was my ornament that was in last year, 2023's Just Cross Stitch Christmas ornament issue. So this is Ready for Takeoff. So I designed it in the fall of 2022, stitched it, finished it January 2023, and sent it to the magazine. That was then published in, I believe, September. So that's kind of how that timing works. This is 51 stitches by 59 stitches. It's on 16 count navy Aida. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. It uses 9 colors of DMC and 2 colors of A12, some red for the nose, and then the stripes in the scarf. But open to any sort of color variations that that call to you. And the cording is made of the same flosses from the scarf, and I did that myself with the help of my older daughter. who loves working the cording drill. So that is ready for takeoff. I love him. I've talked about him in the video last fall when the magazine was out. This is probably my favorite thing that I've ever designed. You're probably not supposed to have favorites, but I do. Just the process of it, how it turned out, the response, just everything has been really, really lovely with this design. And I can release it in my own shop this summer, and the plan is to have at least one companion. So we'll see how that goes. Saying designing plans on the Flosstube feels a lot different than kind of nebulous stitching plans, because, like, you know, it doesn't really matter if those plans happen or not, but when you add in kind of designing ones, it's like, oh, I should probably really get going on that. So that was finish number 2. Another thing that I did last year was start a newsletter with some free patterns. So this was my very first freebie for the first release of my newsletter. Sign up in the description box below. This is Among Friends. It says stitchers are always among friends. It is 75 by 50. The model is on 36 count stone linen by Fiber on a Whim. And it uses Belsois Empress, which is this amazing variegated purple that I love so much. So it's been so fun to see people stitching this. I got a Instagram message and a picture from someone who took it to retreat, and everybody brought things from their own stash and they all started their own version of this. And it was heartwarming. It was exactly what I had in mind when I designed this, thinking about this amazing community. So thank you to everybody who has shown this some love. Cording that was left over from a different project, and a purpley kind of floral backing, and that's my first little freebie pillow. Then I finished the infamous potty training whip. If you've been here from the beginning, last New Year's when I started this channel, I had a younger daughter who just turned 3 last January, and we were in the midst of potty training. And so to the rescue came Gathering Snowflakes from Luminous Fiber Arts. I'm doing this whole series on this big piece of fabric. I will cut them apart and finish them individually. All with called for flosses, and I am doing the button option, and so there will be a button on the snowman's hat once I iron and get ready to fully finish. But this was started on the first day of winter 2022 and then finished early last year. This uses Belsois Mare Blue, and I do 2 strands over 2 on 36 count swank linen from Fortnite Fabrics. So 2 strands on 18 count Aida and 36 count linen are my sweet spot. They're my favorite. So unless otherwise specified, it's pretty much always 2 strands. So that is Gathering Snowflakes. And I'm going to put this to this side because there's another finish on the same piece of fabric, which is very exciting. Then we had another model come springtime. This is Pansy Bloom. I love it so much. When I was originally planning to do this finish parade, I thought, oh, I'm not sure how exciting it's going to be because most of the things will be pictures. I've gifted some things away, and then a lot of the models were on display at my local needlework shop, Criss Stitchery in Iowa Falls, Iowa. Sadly, right before Christmas, I found out that they are closing. And so I went and retrieved all my models, so it makes for a much better finish parade. Having the actual pieces, and it is nice to have them here, but it is sad that I'm losing that kind of local connection and shop. It was a very nice shop. So if you are interested, Rhonda does have hard copies of most of my patterns. And so feel free to call the shop. I'll put the phone number down below if you are interested. The entire inventory is 40% off, and you can see what she still has. There's no online ordering, but phone calls will work. So Pansy Bloom. This is the second in my Bloom series. I released Marigold Bloom previously. It is on 36 count Luminous Warmth fabric from Fortnite Fabrics. It uses 13 DMC colors. The pattern comes with an alternate text for down below, just one that says Pansy in English, but the models use the scientific name. And this frame is an arch needlework frame from Bryn and Company, BRYNN and Co. They're an Australian maker, and I got them off of the website Sewmondo, SEWMONDO. They are on Etsy as well the last time I checked, but the arch frames were only available on Etsy in a set of 3 different sizes, and I just needed the biggest one. And so I was able to get 4 of the large, maybe even extra large ones on that Sewmondo website. That was quite a while ago. That was when I was doing marigold. So I got 4 at the time, and this is the second one that I've used. And I still love this a lot. I really love this a lot. The garden catalogs have started to come in the mail fast and furious as I'm preparing for next year. And so it's definitely, I have a picture in mind to use for the next bloom. So I need to get on that. More designing plans coming to get me during the finish parade. So for these patterns, if you're not familiar, I do use pictures from my garden and kind of work them into what I would call accessible full coverage patterns. Again, this one is only 13 colors. The marigold is fewer, and it's it's 93 by 104. So a full coverage project that you can actually finish is the idea behind that. So that is Pansy Bloom. Oh yes, next we have Kain Kapal number 4. This is by Java Cross Stitch on Etsy. This was a stitch along that was the brainchild of Nithya Daybreak Stitchery, my dear friend. And this was a 2022 stitch along. And I actually did fairly well in 22. I got down to about here within the year. And so this would have been the November 22 and the December 2022 sections that I did not finish in that year. But I did finish it in 2023, which for me is pretty good. This is 36 count paper bark linen by Fox and Rabbit. It's a fabulous neutral. And 2 strands over 2 in the called for DMCs. So really nice. This was a hashtag, Kain Kapal Sal, also hashtag Stitch Asia. And so nice. I have not fully finished it yet. I was thinking of doing a poster hanger, just magnetic frame on the top and bottom finish. So that is that. Flipping my notes. Next is knocking things off the table. This is Song of Nowruz from Miriam at Marroomy Designs, Marroomy Crafts on Instagram, and here on Flosstube. And this is on 36 count memory by Picture This Plus. Really gorgeous fabric. I'd bought it. I was looking for a certain color for a model. This was one that I bought and didn't use, and it's not my usual kind of color that I go toward, and to have it in stash, and you got to have a bold pattern to go with a fabric like this, and Miriam is bold, and so is her work, and so it worked out perfectly. I used 2 colors of Belle Soie from Stash, Pink Quartz and Orchid. I think Pink Quartz was the lighter and Orchid was the darker. And the top says, Believe in Spring, Start Again, Bloom. And I just added Nowruz Piruz on the bottom rather than the date. So this is a flat fold. Again, this finishing fabric. For my flat folds, I use the tutorial from Vanna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher. Pretty much any finishing I do is thanks to Vanna. So that is Song of Nowruz. It felt really good to have that one done because Miriam has so many beautiful patterns that I want to stitch, and it felt nice to actually be able to have a finish on one. Next is my second freebie. This is called Should. It says, don't should on yourself. This is 145 stitches long by 42 high. The model is again on 36 count stone from Fiber on a Whim. It uses 3 DMC colors. This is the 3808, 3810 range, I believe, of these teals. But you could easily do it monochromatically with a variegated floss. You could do 3 shades of any color. You could do just the heart. It's a heart made of quotation marks because we should on ourselves a lot. I should design that other thing. I should film a Flosstube. I should watch the Flosstube. I should stitch on that thing. Don't should on yourself. So, this and Among Friends are still free. As I get my ModCross Patterns website up and going, they will be available on there. After, they'll go to newsletter subscribers first, and then when I release the next freebie to the newsletter subscribers, I'll put the previous ones on the website is the plan. So eventually they will be available. If you sign up for the newsletter and you get the current one and you're looking for either Among Friends or Should, just reach out to me and I'll email it to you. I've had somebody do that. Pam of Just Keep Stitchin' showed this on her channel, and so there was a lot of interest. So if you're a little later to the party and would like this, just subscribe to the newsletter and then let me know and I will get that to you. So that Should. Still free. Will continue to be free, just not automatically sent anymore at the moment. Oh, so the next one was a gift for my dad's big birthday last May, and so I will insert a picture here because it is with him at his house now. This is Saturn V blueprint from Lord Libidan. The Etsy shop is XStitchCollective. This is on 30 count Blue Moon by Witchelt using DMC Blanc, and I got the frame from arttoframes.com. I've used them several times, and they're pretty good. Really happy with how this turned out. It was a really fun stitch. I kept telling myself it would be quick because it's mostly backstitch, and I wasn't wrong, but it's also pretty intricate in some parts. I did 2 strands. There were some of those heavier areas that I kind of wish I would have done 1 strand, but overall, super happy with how it turned out. Pretty proud of myself for how straight it turned out in the frame because that's a very definite border, and I really worked hard on getting that straight when I was framing it. Sorry, kicked the camera. So that is the Saturn V blueprint from XStitchCollective on Etsy. That was a lot of fun to do. The next 3 is a pattern that I designed, a trio of patterns. And so that was 3 finishes real quick. And this is the Made with Love trio. They're meant to be holiday gift tags. So if you're thinking about next Christmas or a future holiday and looking for a quick stitch, these are each 39 by 69. So they should go pretty quickly. This is Made with Love, fueled by cheer. This is the Christmassiest, I would say, of them. It uses 5 DMC colors and it's on 32 count Petit Point gray and white from Zweigart. It's more Purple Paper Mountain white chenille, I think, trim. And they're all on 6-inch wooden gift tags from Signature Cutouts on Etsy. So that's Cheer, Made with Love, fueled by cookies. This one is 7 DMC colors. It's on 32 count gray gingham Lugana from Fabric Flare. It's a very faint Lugana, and I don't know if it even will come through now. And then Eggnog, Made with Love, fueled by eggnog, is the shiny version, and that uses 3 DMC colors and 4 DMC étoile, and it's on 32 count Stormy Clouds by Zweigart, which is a really nice printed fabric that I use quite a bit. So that's 3 of them together. They all come in the same pattern purchase. And I believe newsletter subscribers also got a cocoa option with a mug. So that is the Made with Love trio. Then in the fall, I was fully finishing something else. And when I get my stuff out, I want to finish all the things. And so I have 2 fall projects that I stitched in 2022, but I finished in 2023. So I thought I'd throw them in. I did not count them toward my 19 total, but who can say no to a bonus, right? This is Ye Old Crow from Heart and Hand. And I used the block finish tutorial by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and Vanna Pfeiffer also has one, so I watched both. It's stitched on 36 count pumpkin pie from Needle Bling Designs, and I used 2 strands of Classic Colorworks Black Coffee. And then everything is pinned. I go over this a lot in the Flosstube where I showed it this fall, but the backing fabric is pinned, the piece is pinned, and then the ribbon around. So everything can be disassembled. It's a styrofoam block. And then acorns that I gathered while it was a lull in our farmer's market at some point last year for a little touch of fall. So my first ever block finish, really happy with it. I still really like it. I've had it up all year or all fall, and so now I should probably put it away, but I'll be excited to pull it back out next fall for sure. The other thing that I finished kind of in that round of fully finishing was my other fall stitching from 2022. This is Waiting for the Harvest by Blackbird Designs. This is in the Winds of Autumn book. And I stitched it on 36 count peppercorn from Color and Cotton using ecru, 2 strands of DMC ecru. And this is a Dollar Tree wooden circle frame that I mutilated and just did a flat finish with a pocket on the back to slip over. And I just needed some way to display it, and I really wasn't sure what to do, and that seemed reasonable enough that I could then, if I wanted it to be mounted onto something else eventually, it was still nice and flat, but for now I could display it. So those were my 2 bonus FFOs, fully finished objects that had already been stitched. Oh, that's why I was fully finishing things. My next finish is the only secret one I have that I can't show you. It was my model that will come out in Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2024. So that will be this summer sometime. And yes, that's all I can say about that, but I'm excited. Okay. Then we have fall releases. I love both of these patterns. I do. I put a lot of pressure on myself to finish them and get them out in October. I was already kind of behind schedule of where I wanted to be, and I just totally burned out. I have hardly designed anything since these 2, but I'm starting to feel it coming back. So I've been on a bit of a break. No shade to these designs because I love them, but yeah, fall was rough, and I've been enjoying just doing gift stitching and things ever since. But going back to pins and needles. This is 114 by 54. It's on 32 count vintage country mocha, uses 6 DMC colors, and then the twine trim is from Purple Paper Mountain, of course. These are the letter B, Very Afraid pin mini set from Just Another Button Company. Super cute. And I love him. I love his face. I love his face. I worked hard on that face and I love it. So if you're looking for a little spooky stitching early in 2024, or just preparing for spooky season already, cannot blame you. That is pins and needles. And then my other release for last fall was Stitch Witch. So this version was in 2023 Just Cross Stitch Halloween. And it's Stitch Witch Froggers, magical stitch removal, metallic thread dehexing, which we could all use. This is on 16 count Heather Ada from Fiber on a Whim, and it's with DMC 310 and Petite Treasure Braid Dark Purple, which I think is 34. To check the magazine to make sure. So I was then able to release it after the magazine came out. You're given a certain amount of time, and then you can release it on your own to shops or to your Etsy shop or however you sell your patterns. And so I decided that I wanted to add to it. I'd always thought it would make a cute needlebook. And I had this fabric that I just had to stitch this on. So this is 36 count Monster Mash by Picture This Plus. And I did this version monochromatically in DMC 310 Étoile. And then, so I designed a second part to go with it. Crafty corrections, fantastical fudging, and spellbinding service with some frogs and some spools and some needles. So put them together to make a needlebook. And this was my first ever needlebook. Learned lots about what not to do. I have no one to credit with the tutorial for this. I watched a lot of things and I just none of them was what I wanted to do, and so I just kind of winged it. Won't be doing that again. But I am really happy with the design. I really wanted to make kind of a companion panel, and I'm glad I did. So if you order the pattern, you do get both. So you can either do the front as an ornament, you can do the needlebook, you can just do the back, do whatever you want. So it's up to you. So that is Stitch Witch. Oh yes. So then was my third freebie. God, no wonder I burned out. Good heavens. I was busy in the fall. So this is handy cord. I still love it. I do. So this is the current freebie that you get if you sign up for the newsletter. It will automatically send to you until I come up with another one. So this is handy corn. It's 37 by 33. This is on 36 count, a limited edition color and cotton green. And as you can see, I'm in the process of fully finish it. I'm going to make him into the tiniest little candy corn stand-up. So when I was finishing my gift stitching for my sister for Christmas, I had all my stuff out and said, oh, I want to do, get handy corn done too. And then Christmas. And so lots of things were happening and I only got part way. So I still have to stuff it and do the bottom and attach the bottom. So it should not take that long. All the ironing is done and the sewing, which are my two least favorite parts. So stuffing and putting the bottom on should not be too hard. And then I'll have this little stand up to just hang out with me in the fall. So that is handy corn. So then, also this fall, I finally started the Autumn Royalty trio from Lindy Stitches, and I finished the first one. This is Count of Candy. It is on 36 count. It's on a fabric that was marked as 36 count mocha by Color and Cotton. I have yet to find proof that that was actually a color offered by Color and Cotton. Maybe it was and it's retired now. I'm honestly not sure. It's a beautiful dusty purple. So that's all the information I have about that. But it is 36 count and it is beautiful. So I used the called for DMC with some overdyed conversions. And then, I did diamant for the crown. Some gold metallic diamant for that. And I've started the next one in the series very briefly over there. And then I will finish them individually when they are done. So that was the Count of Candy. That was such a fun stitch. I was really glad to finally get that going. And then also it was delightful to stitch. It was really, really fun. So then, second to last finish of the year was Gathering Acorns, going back to the Gathering series. So this was the first one of the series that I started. I started it the first day of fall 2022, and I finished it this fall, It is a new year. I finished it last fall, 2023. The most recent fall. So this uses 2 strands of Belle Soie Paprika. And the buttons, pardon me, the buttons will go in the large flowers when I fully finish. So again, 36 count swank by Fortnite Fabrics. 2/2. It was delightful. So excited that it was finished. And of course, now that I have it out and looking at it, I'm thinking I need to get back to the next one. So the next one is Gathering Clover. A little preview. Next one is Gathering Clover. And I would have started that the first day of spring 2023. So it's about time to get that one back out. My final finish of 2023 was my gift to my sister for Christmas. If you watched my last regular Flosstube video, you've seen that, but I will insert again here as well. It is called Tired Trio by Plum Street Samplers. I stitched it on 32 count Ocean Air from Fox and Rabbit. Hashtag everything looks better on blue. And I kitted it from Stash. So there are some called for colors and quite a few substitutions. Those are listed on my Instagram post showing the finish and also in my description box from my last Flosstube where I talk about it at length. This was my first of the Plum Street kind of stacks, animal stacks series, and it was delightful. I loved it. Sometimes piddly with the flowers, but I love how it turned out. It really gives a nice effect. So that was it. That was my last finish of 2023. I do have one more bonus item to show you, however. Since I finished this before I had a Flosstube, it hasn't been shown on here yet, and it's been out in my daughter's room, excuse me, because it's an advent calendar. And so I thought before I put everything away, I would show it here. So this was the Nutcracker Stitch Along by Little Dove Designs, and I think this started in December 2020, and it was my first ever stitch along that I'd participated in. I did everything called for because I didn't know any better, but it's all DMC. It's on, I think it's 16 count Ada, and there were 4 drops. So that was the first release, and the second, and the third. I'm pretty sure the bottom was its own release, a separate release. I was so close to being done. Hang on. Okay, we're so close. So yes, it's all DMC. It's on 16 count Ada. Everything was called for. I did do a skin conversion on the Sugar Plum Fairy. I think that was probably my first ever skin conversion. I may have changed one other color too, but I don't remember. Just did a flat finish with pom-pom trim. And then I took this teal floss in to get paint and match the color, and can't even get far enough away. My husband cut a board for me and did a router on the edges to make it nice and pretty. And so it's an advent calendar. There's 24 spots. I think we're missing a charm. But I got a charm of Nutcracker related, a package of Nutcracker related charms on Etsy, and just put some floss on them and put them on hooks with the days. And so she got this for her birthday, which is early December. She got it in 2021, so she was able to use it. This was her 3rd Christmas using it, so I just thought since that was out and I hadn't been able to show it on a Flosstube, that I would add that as a little bonus. I'm still really proud of the finish. I definitely didn't know about like couching backstitching or not doing long stitches quite so long, or some of those techniques, but it's where I was at the time, and it was my first sal, and I really enjoyed it. So Little Dove Designs. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching this Flosstube Extra. I hope you enjoyed the parade. It was sure fun for me to actually sit down and count and get all these things together. And now I'm a little more motivated to design some new things and to fully finish the ones that aren't fully finished yet. So until then, I will see you in February for a Flosstube update and hopefully a whip parade, and enjoy the season and do what you can when you can. Happy stitching, everybody.